Okay, ladies and gents, what up? It's your favorite Asian robot, hopefully your favorite DarkTide partner, and I'm here today to talk about patch 1.0.22. The patch just dropped, like literally 3.5 hours ago, and the post was made by Catfish, who is the community manager for DarkTide going forward. Okay, let's talk. First and foremost, they mentioned that in this update, they'll be answering some community questions, as well as, covering some of the patch notes, fixes, all that kind of other stuff that they've done so far. We've already read through this on stream, but for those that weren't there, this is just going to be a way of me, breaking it down for you. So I'm not going to read every single thing here, but I'm going to try and cover everything in as much detail as I can. So if I miss stuff, all right, feel free to let me know in comments, or if you think it was important, feel free to let me know in comments. All right, here we go. First and foremost, in terms of the roadmap, this is something that I myself and several other creators have asked for. We want to know, how do we schedule our work? But basically, they've stated that they've adjusted some of their short-term plans to allow for more work on their top priorities, which mainly revolve around getting the game to where it should be. And because of that, and the fact that they're in the process of adding other changes, they want to bring an updated version of the roadmap in future once they have a more concrete plan. For me, this is a bit of a political answer, but I'm okay with that. I hope that when they do bring it out, I'm going to trust them. I hope that when they do bring it out, it will be concrete enough for me to also effectively schedule my stuff. In terms of third-party services, notably the tool that people use to check on the shop while they're not logged in, they have stated that they do support such things, but any risks are on your end, or is on the player's end, not on their end, so they can't solve any problems. All right, so just be aware of this, okay? So if you wanna use mods, up to you. It's not gonna be bannable. So the risks are entirely on your end. Like Fatshark cannot be responsible for that. Okay, so I myself don't take any risks with most of this stuff, but if you want to, up to you. Okay, the actual patch notes. They've done a lot of weapon fixes. I will say that much. Okay, I'm gonna zoom this in a little bit more for myself. Covering the most pertinent ones. All right. Heavy last pistol was fixed because of the feats and blessings that increase reload speed or attack speed that didn't apply before. They did a balance tweak for the Thunderhammer, which was buff. You can read it for yourself. The link to these patch notes will be in the description of the video. There was a bug where you couldn't use your weapon special action while blocking with the power sword and the force sword and tactical axes. They fixed that. They fixed some other bugs on the chain sword, shovel, basically a whole bunch of weapon fixes. All right, if you want to read the full thing, you can go ahead. But to cover some of the ones that I personally focus on, and I'm going to apologize for this in advance. I'm not going to cover any of the Ogren ones because I don't know enough about it to comment. I don't want to say the wrong things because I have the least experience on Ogren. My Ogren is at level 30, but I've barely played him. I've mostly played Zealot, Psyker, and Veteran. So right now, the Purgation Flamer had an unnecessary animation on the wield. This has been fixed. I did not notice it, but hopefully that helps as well. I love the flamers, so I view that as a good thing. Some of the weapons did not have the correct icons on the stat screens, so do double check. Make sure you inspect your weapon. I'm sure you guys know how to do that. If you don't, there's a video on that to help you. Okay, the Purgatus Force Staff did not allow you to change weapon while you were firing the charged secondary attack, meaning the long flame. They fixed that now, so you can actually do that. The Trauma Force Staff and the Void Strike Force Staff have had their peril costs adjusted to be more in line with each other. What this means is that the Trauma Force Staff will no longer cause you to explode after you use it twice. In general, this has been a significant buff to the Trauma Force Staff. Is it going to be good? I don't know. Look forward to my testing because this is one of the things that we will be testing in a limited, very, very limited test that we did. The Trauma Force Staff seemed to perform okay, but that was merely a T3 test. I'll be testing it more seriously in the days to come. Hopefully I can get y'all a good idea of what it's supposed to be like. Okay. The bolt gun's crosshair spread could look wider while crouching. This has been fixed. For those of you that like the bolt gun like me, that's helpful. The Purgatus Force Staff and the Flamer's Burst attacks, meaning the left mouse button attacks, would not hit enemies if they were aborted too early. This has been fixed. It's good. It's better for those that spam LMB like me. Okay. There was a bug where you could not activate the Force Sword or weapon specials with the tactical axis while blocking. You can now do so. We did test this. It does work. So hopefully that helps. The Crusher bug, people have claimed that it's not fixed, but basically they stated that they fixed a bug where the second attack in the light combo with the Indignatus Mark 4E Crusher dealt less damage than intended while activated. I am unsure about this, so y'all have to test that for yourself. Max recoil would add a constant. They fixed an issue where switching weapons at max recoil would add a constant offset to the camera. Well, I don't spam my weapon switches, so I haven't seen this happen, but well, there's that now. The Mark 4 and Mark 7 tactical axes wouldn't effectively push the pox bursters. This has been fixed. However, honestly, I still have problems pushing the damn pox bursters, so hopefully you guys will be able to use this more effectively than me, at least. They fixed a bug where you couldn't chain the parry special attack from push attack and push follow-ups on the Katakan swords. So for those of you that like to parry, hopefully this will be helpful. They fixed attacks that were incorrectly affected, were unaffected by weapon stats. Okay, most of these are on the Ogryn weapons, the cleavers, but the other ones are the combat axe, the tactical axe, and the power sword. The attack number 3 in the light combo actually was unaffected by weapon stats. Interesting. Did not actually know that, but meh. Okay. They fixed a bug where the activated push follow-up attack with the Mark II Heavy Eviscerator would not stick to some enemies. Okay. They fixed a bug where you couldn't hold the fire. Now, this is a major one. They fixed a bug where you couldn't hold the fire button during the bolter's wield action in order to start shooting as soon as it was completed. This is actually really helpful because that delay was a problem. So sticky bolter won't happen anymore. They've changed how the Hellbore lasgun shoot action is triggered, making it easier to chain charge shots. I will be testing this in the days to come because that was also one of my issues with the Hellbore. They fixed an issue with some force staffs displaying the incorrect damage number in the weapon stat screen, i.e. Void Strike. Hopefully that's fixed now. All right, blessings. They fixed an issue with the thrust blessing because it would only affect the first tick of damage instead of the entire attack. So on revved up weapons like its Eviscerator, Chainsword, whatever. So that has been fixed. Warp Flurry Blessing was not working on some Trauma Force staffs. It should now be working. They fixed an issue so that blessings get the correct bonus according to their tier. They fixed an issue where some blessings could be active when a weapon was not wielded, i.e. Crush and Roulette. They fixed an issue with the activation of Devastating Strike. The bonus is now applied for the critical strike instead of the next attack after. They fixed an exploit where Shred Weapon Blessing allowed you to keep the critical strike bonus when wielding another weapon. This was used to feed ranged criticals, so that has been fixed as well. In terms of the enemies, they've fixed the Bulwark not getting staggered correctly by stun grenades. They fixed an issue with Bleed Blessings applying bleed on 0 damage attacks. A lot of people have been moaning about this. I tested it live on stream, did not have an impact. My Bleed Zealot played exactly the same, so that should be all right. They fixed an issue with the wrong damage efficiency being returned if you hit a shield. Downward vertical attacks would cause enemies to turn around and stagger in the wrong direction. That's been fixed. They fixed the suppression on the Dreg and Scab Gunner animations to match the actual animation. They've changed the Dreg Shooter suppression values. Now this one is major. To enter suppression a bit earlier, they reduced the immunity's duration from 2.75 to 3.25 to 0.25 to 0.5 seconds. So this was a major immunity to suppression reduction, which should help with the Dreg Shooters, Dreg Gunners, and all the rest. They've added a suppression attack delay to the Dreg Gunner. They tweaked the Scab and Dreg Shotgunner Assaulters suppression immunities. All of it has been lowered drastically. And they tweaked the Reaper suppression immunity from 3.75 to 4.25 seconds to 2.75 to 3.25 seconds. So across the board, the immunity to suppression durations have all been changed, okay, which is really good. So there should be no more people totally immune to suppression. In terms of feats and abilities, kinetic deflection did not pause passive quelling. It will now pause passive quelling, so you can no longer use a non-force weapon to tank the demon host indefinitely. All right, that has been changed and altered. Only the slab shields can now tank that indefinitely. They fixed an exploit where switching weapons before exploding after 100% peril brain burst would prevent you from exploding. That was one of the ones that I reported, so they've changed that. They fixed a bug where rank 3 Fire Frenzy Blessing didn't give the correct damage increase. Okay. They fixed an issue where bloodletting sometimes didn't trigger on a killing blow. Now it should. They fixed an issue where Kinetic Flare could trigger on Corruptor Pustules and Eyes. Okay. They fixed an issue where Kinetic Flare could sometimes trigger on the Ogryn Bulwark's shield. Okay. These two were known issues and they do help. They fixed an issue with Sharpshooter Volley Fire combat ability reloading. Reloading while activating it should now abort the reload animation. This is great for sustained fire because sometimes you'd be like trying to fight and then you realize that your ability is up, but you're already halfway through a reload. You slam that ability, the reload animation is now aborted. Okay, that one's really important. They fixed an issue where the Psykinetics Brain Burst cast bar wouldn't reset when pounced on by a Poxhound. I didn't really notice this issue, but meh. Fixed an exploit where users could gain toughness from the Preacher's dash ability without you consuming the ability charge. Not sure how that worked, but okay, good to know that that's fixed. Wish I'd known about that exploit. Not for my personal purposes, but it would have helped me to let people know about this. Okay. They fixed an issue where if a sharpshooter would trigger the volley fire while reloading and having the sustained fire feat, the reload animation would continue to play. Okay, so I don't know why they doubled up on that. I thought that was made clear earlier, like literally 2 lines up, but whatever. Okay, good to know that that is super fixed. They fixed an issue where Ren Blessings and Brittleness could give negative bonuses for some weapons. So some people noticed the plasma gun folks complaining, so that is completely done. Crush and Roulette will no longer be applied to melee attacks, all right? One after another feat wouldn't have its icon appear in the HUD. It should now appear. I will test that. They improved the targeting and tagging of Brain Burst through fences, gaps, and railings. So Psyker improved again. Fixed issue with Ogryn feats and passives not working as intended. This one we'll have to check, I guess. Fixed issue with Blazing Spirit Blessing on the Trauma Force Staff and Void Strike Force Staff. It only applied Warp Fire to directly hit enemies on crit and not enemies hit by an explosion. So now that should help. So maybe Blazing Spirit will be more useful. We'll see. They fixed an issue where Kinetic Overload could target a Demon Host that wasn't active. Damn. Okay, good to know that. Not that Kinetic Overload was ever used in my builds. They fixed an issue where Punishment did not stop the Preacher from getting stunned. Okay. They fixed an issue where Toughness Regeneration Speed Curio only gave a bonus to the Toughness Regeneration Delay of Coherency. I did kind of feel this effect today on my Zealot, so that was pretty good. They fixed issues with feat identifiers overriding each other. Fixed an issue so that enemies within and without no longer regenerates toughness while disabled. They fixed issue with sustained fire blessing for all Hellbore Lasguns. Okay, hopefully that helps. They fixed an issue where Volley Fire would block actions for a short while if wielding another weapon while triggering it. Okay. In my case, that never happened. It usually just swapped to my ranged weapon. They fixed an issue where Quietude feat did not work with the Transfer Peril Blessing. Ah, so this did not work before. Now it does work. That's good for the Psychers who are using Transfer Peril. They fixed an issue so you are no longer block broken when at 0 stamina with kinetic deflection. That can be helpful indeed. They fixed an issue where Ascendant Blaze sometimes wouldn't trigger on the kill of the Brigadier Staffs. Okay. They fixed an issue where Corruption Resistance Grimoires did not affect the corruption gain from Grimoires. They fixed an exploit where Shred Weapon Blessing. Yeah, this one we already know. Other than that, they fixed various crashes. Some things related to cosmetic displays, clipping, stuff like that. And They fixed an issue where effects were being suppressed under fire from enemies, but not effectively actively taking damage were missing or inconsistently triggered. Okay. This should be triggering consistently now. They fixed an issue where getting knocked down sometimes wouldn't add a wound correctly. Okay. This one I've never encountered. I always got wounded whenever I was knocked down. Fix this so that power level buffs now affect stagger and cleave as well as damage. This is major and very useful. And they fixed an issue with damage numbers in Psychanium that sometimes displayed the wrong color when a critical strike was made. So overall, they've done a lot of fixing work. Hopefully this has helped, even though I didn't read like the vast majority of them. Like I said, I focus more on the feats and abilities, things like that, because these were more important. The weapon ones, I highly encourage you to read yourself. Overall, they've done a lot of fixes, especially with exploits, bugs, things like this. And the Psyker seems to have gained some benefits from this, so I'm looking forward to trying out the Psyker, especially with the Trauma and Void Strike staffs in the near future. But other than that, thank you very much for watching this video. I hope it was informative. As always, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and enjoy the content, enjoy the game, for those of you still playing. And as always, thank you very much for watching. All right, I will see you all in the next one. I haven't done the member thank yous for a couple of vids, but they will return on my next vid. Today was a bit of an urgent day, so I'm just trying to get these out to you guys as fast as possible. Okay, see you on the next one.